Previously on Professional Hating. Start off, we got the first arc, the Fearsome Womb arc.
You would think that Yuji would have like a serious reaction to getting his hand blown off, but his dumbass just goes, huh?
Yuji will regain control of his body, so Sukuna rips his heart out to make sure that he can't come back. I've seen this online so many times. People love this fight. It's not that great, to be honest.
Gojo enters the battle. He uses Hollow Purple to destroy Hanami, except she survives. And that's the end of the arc. That's the end of the first season. It was mid.
Not bad, actually. It only gets worse from here.
Never said I've been on my grind for 7 days. Need a race, swear to God I'll never be the same. TBH.
Wow, this is bad.
Yeah, CBA.
Season 2, the Shibuya Arc.
Season 2 starts off with Gojo's Past, a prequel. It starts off with two characters, Mei, who they introduce in this part, and Utahime, who's Gojo's past teammate.
They're stuck in a maze, and Utahime breaks out of the maze by running through it. This made no sense and was also ass.
Moving on, they get assigned a mission to protect the new Tenkin vessel.
They explain that Master Tengen needs to switch bodies every 500 years to maintain his humanity.
They also throw a funny-ass Digimon reference in there. I like that.
I feel like we were the only ones who got it.
You find out that Gojo and Geto were classmates in the past, and their teacher was actually the principal of the school.
I'm overloading! This is where you get introduced to young Geto, which shows him before he was evil and kind of brings in the main plot.
The current conflict of this arc is that they have to protect the vessel, who they introduce as a young girl.
The vessel's name is Riko, and she becomes friends with Geto and Gojo.
At the same time, two associations are after her, the Time Vessel Association and the Q Attackers.
They basically want Tengen to lose his humanity so that he can go apeshit.
An assassin hired by the Time Vessel Association is Toji Fushiguro.
We get introduced to Megumi's dad?
He's an ex-member of the Zenin clan. Geto and Gojo take out the Q Attackers and move on.
At this point, they tell you that Gojo is one of the strongest sorcerers, but he's not the strongest yet. And Geto's ability is to absorb curses by eating them.
They bring Riko back to Jujutsu High and tell her that her fate is to become Tengen.
Moving on.
Riko's maid gets kidnapped and they have to go save her.
It's a relevant ass maid.
Gojo and Geto storm the base of the assassins and defeat them using Limitless and Six Eyes.
Gojo is super OP still. The Gojo clan's secret technique is Limitless, but you can only master Limitless if you have the Six Eyes, and Gojo has both.
Gojo is the first sorcerer born in 400 years that has both. After saving the maid, they go to the beach.
This part is stupid. Up until this boring ass beach episode, I was actually enjoying this part. I like Gojo and Gejo. I mean, they did it to themselves. I kind of like Gojo and Geto's relationship, and it also sets up Geto's motivations later on, even though that's not Geto. Why did they do this to me?
Now that they think the mission is over, after relaxing at the beach, they go back to Jujutsu High, where Toji ambushes them. When he arrives, he slashes Gojo with a blade called Inverted Spear of Heaven.
Toji is super strong, although he doesn't have any cursed energy similar to Maki, but he uses cursed weapons and he has heavenly packs that make him stronger.
This is because he expelled all his cursed energy, but we'll find out more about that later. After stabbing Gojo, you find out that his blade can actually cut through infinity, and he finishes off Gojo by stabbing him in the neck.
Obviously, Gojo's not dead because this is a flashback, but in the moment, it really seemed like he clapped Gojo. I didn't even know anyone could do that.
They're mad dark for some reason.
Because God loves me more than he loves you.
Toji ambushes Geto, killing Riko and sending him into a rage.
This moment was crazy. He just walks through the door and pops her. I didn't even think she was gonna die.
Geto then releases all the curses he has sealed inside him, trying to kill Toji. But it's not enough.
Yeah, Toji just whoops that ass.
Toji then collects Riko's body and heads out. Outside, he's confronted by Gojo, who used the reverse curse technique to heal himself.
This is where you get some excellent explanations. This is where we finally get some really great explanations for Gojo's powers.
This introduces Gojo's power blue, where he imbues cursed energy into Limitless, creating a sphere.
This sphere has the force of attraction, which creates a void when he uses it.
And the second ability, which is a reverse curse technique, where he says he multiplies both cursed energy together because they're double negatives to create a positive energy, which heals him.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Bad writing. All this math shit makes no sense.
Anyway, the reverse curse technique also has a second ability called Red, where he imbues it into Limitless and creates another sphere, but this one repels.
Moving on. The combination of negative energy and positive energy makes Gojo freaking insane. And Gojo having to balance these forces at all times is what makes him so nonchalant and cocky all the time.
He then uses Hollow Purple to clap Toji's butt cheeks.
How else can you describe it? He started reaching for the arm that wasn't there. He said,
"Oh, that was tough. That was tough."
Bro, this is like the best part of the whole show. Yo, we watched the beginning of season 2 and we are like, yo, they finally did it. And then the rest was ass.
Toji dies, but tells Gojo about Megumi.
This is why Gojo goes to get Megumi in the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen.
In the beginning? What are you talking about? He goes to get him at the end of this arc.
This was really fire, and it leads to later in this arc where Megumi is recruited by Gojo to learn Jujutsu sorcery.
After killing Toji, Gojo goes to meet up with Geto, where he actually says that he wants to kill all the occult members.
At this point, Gojo doesn't feel anything because of the way he's balancing negative and positive energy all the time, so he wouldn't even care if he killed all these people, and Geto knows this.
This gives Geto an idea that if he had the power of Gojo, he could just kill people at will. 1 year later, Geto meets up with Yuki, where they discuss what they could do to get rid of cursed energy.
Geto decides that the best way to get rid of all curses would be to eliminate all non-sorcerers. He wants to kill those monkeys.
So the concept stems from the idea that cursed sorcerers funnel energy throughout their entire body to control their cursed energy, not creating cursed spirits. Geto on his next mission goes out to save 2 sorcerer girls and kills everybody in the village.
Geto finds out that the villagers were actually torturing the sorcerers and calling them witches, so that man had enough. He claps all of them.
Side note, Geto kills his parents.
Off screen. I don't know what, like, you can't escape the Jujutsu Kaisen writing.
Gojo confronts Geto in the street where he tells him he can kill him, and Geto turns around to say, if you were Gojo, would you be the best, or you're the best because you're Gojo?
Whatever that fucking means.
Nah, explain what it means, because that actually had good meaning.
In this moment, Geto is basically saying that if he had Gojo's power, he would use it to kill all of the non-sorcerers on the planet.
But Gojo's gonna be his ultimate obstacle in the way of his goal. After this, Geto forms his own Jujutsu school where he wants to train sorcerers to kill all non-sorcerers.
But anybody who refuses his training gets clapped immediately.
And that brings us to the end of the prequel.
This was probably the best part of Jujutsu Kaisen, to be honest. I can't say anything beyond that. No, I have more things to say.
Now on to Jujutsu Kaisen 0, because we're going in chronological order. This is the part when they introduce Yuta, one of the main characters who you'll find out about in the next season, which I'm not gonna watch. Alright, let's take a break so I can take a massive shit. We're just gonna run through the movie quickly and cover the main points. So they introduce Yuta. He's getting bullied at school and he shoves 3 students in a locker.
Yeah, another high school loser type like Junpei.
So he gets recruited by Gojo to learn Jujutsu sorcery.
And they hold Junpei in the basement dungeon just like how they held Yuji in the beginning of the show.
Find out years ago that his best friend died after getting hit by a car.
Rika. His friend Rika becomes attached to him as a cursed spirit and follows him around everywhere protecting him.
Yuta joins Jujutsu High and he meets up with Panda, Maki, and Toge.
They give this team a lot more development than they get in the show, and I actually really like these characters, especially Maki.
So he trains for a while with them until he goes on his first mission where he has to fight cursed spirits with Toge. Outside the veil, they're spotted by Geto.
Geto is pursuing his plan to kill all non-sorcerers and plans an attack on Jujutsu High.
He wants to recruit Yuta and use his spirit to kill everyone.
Because of his ability to eat curses, Subaru wants to eat Rika. That's staying in there.
Gojo thinks he found out where Geto is, so he goes to a certain location to fight him.
This is where Gojo fights Miguel and does an Ip Man reference. This was a cool scene, but I saw somebody saying that this proves that Jujutsu Kaisen has real martial arts in it. It doesn't. They never do martial arts ever. They just do spinning, flying tornado kicks.
Terrible fights. I hate this show. After the prequel, Gojo now can control his powers, not going insane while using them.
Yeah, he just mastered that off screen. I feel like that was a really big leap in power that should have been explained further, but they were just like, nah, he got it now.
Bad writing.
Horrible.
Todo makes an appearance in this arc where he fights special grade curses, and they make a reference to this in the Kyoto school event.
The Kyoto event is actually a reference to this because technically this came out first.
You always gotta be right. Gojo sends Panda and Toge to protect Yuta, but Geto actually severely injures Maki.
Maki and Yuta low-key have crushes on each other, which develops their relationship.
After Yuta sees Maki in this state, he goes on a rampage with Rika, almost killing Geto.
This shows you just how strong Rika is as his cursed spirit.
Yuta actually makes a deal with Rika to go with her after this battle, so he unleashes Rika on Geto.
Yuka's willingness to die for this battle shows his conviction, and he's actually a pretty interesting character.
After releasing Rika on Geto, he actually loses his arm and is severely injured. This is when Gojo pulls up on Geto.
Gojo's not going to make the same mistakes as last time, and he's ready to kill Geto.
This is when Gojo reveals that Rika actually did not curse Yuta.
Yuta actually cursed Rika, and the reason he was able to do this is because he's actually Gojo's distant cousin.
From the Gojo clan.
How did this come out first, but like the writing is still shit? You motherfuckers.
This movie is actually really good and written pretty well compared to the rest of the show.
This along with Gojo's backstory arc are actually the highlights of the show because every other part is just kind of pretty ass.
Now this leads you to think that Geto is still alive after Gojo killed him.
But he's not. He's dead as fuck.
Great writing.
So they spend Gojo's entire backstory arc and this entire movie setting up Geto and his motivations and his plan to kill all non-sorcerers, only for the Geto that they fight in the main show to not even be him. It's actually Kenjaku who stole his body after Gojo killed him. What the fuck was the creator smoking when he wrote this shit?
Now for what's supposed to be the most important arc in the show, but it's absolutely terrible.
The Shibuya Arc. My favorite.
This arc starts off with the continuation of the plotline of the mole in Jujutsu High.
Yuji talks about how he likes fat women, webbies, big bitches, BBWs.
They go to investigate Mekamaru. Mekamaru meets with Mahito and Geto so they can fix his body. Invincible. He has a pact with fucking Geto and Mahito.
Moving on.
No, you!
He has a pact with fucking Geto and Mahito. No, you. Mekamaru has a pact with Geto and Mahito saying that if he supplied them with information, Mahito would heal his body, which is something that he can fucking do.
Mekamaru figures out that they're gonna kill him after they heal him.
Even though he knows that they're gonna kill him, he still goes along with the plan so that they can have a giant mecha anime battle for no reason.
You could just skip the next episode because it's fucking trash.
They spend the entire episode fighting and then Mekamaru just dies anyway. He already knew that was gonna happen.
Do you even want to cover the battle?
No.
Mekamaru uses mode absolute.
Moving on.
Now to the main plot.
They pitch a tent in Shibuya. Gojo goes there, he fucking dies.
Wow, this is bad!
This arc is fucking the epitome of Twitter anime bullshit garbage where they have a fight every single episode instead of having a plot, and every time they have a plot, it's fucking ass.
Now back to the main plot. They raise a veil over Shibuya.
The people trapped inside the veils begin asking for Gojo, so they send him out there to deal with the problem.
Yuji goes with Mei to help Gojo.
It turns out that it's actually Geto and his faction that are behind the veil in Shibuya.
When Gojo arrives, we fight Jogo, Chozo, and Hanami at the train station. Hanami uses domain amplification to try to block Gojo from entering the train station.
Gojo says fuck that shit and kills her bitch ass immediately.
I don't know why. Why didn't he just kill her before?
Yeah, they could have killed her like 3 times before this, but whatever.
Gojo also rips out Hanami's eyes because they're fucking trees. And it looks kind of cool, I guess.
Up until this point, the arc actually is pretty good. A lot of good stuff happening.
At the same time, Yuji fights with Mei and she tells Yuji that these are transfigured humans.
The transfigured humans remind him of Mahito, and Yuji locks in. Not because of Junpei though, because he doesn't mention that at all during this arc. He just gets really mad.
Mei then tells Yuji that he can either fight the transfigured humans or go after one main cursed spirit.
Yuji decides to fight the cursed spirit, and the creator starts to think that this is Jojo.
He tells some dumbass story about a grasshopper and how he sticks his dick into the ground.
This part was fucking ass.
I was so bored. Moving on.
In Florida, it rained frogs. Grasshoppers actually stick their dicks in the ground. Like, why did you think that was the same thing? No, bro. You really thought that you were Hirohiko or Rocky?
Geto and Jogo have a plan to trap Gojo in a crowded area.
Because of this, Gojo can't use his domain expansion, and he actually releases it for 0.2 seconds and defeats all the transfigured humans in the area in just 0.2 seconds. Because he's so cool and he's so strong! He's so strong and he's so cool!
Yeah, I don't care for any of these moments. After Gojo kills all these people in 299 seconds, he fights Jogo.
While he's fighting Jogo, Geto shows up and traps him.
Perfect! It's like you actually watched the show.
What if I smack my foot in your face? While Gojo's fighting Jogo, Geto shows up and imprisons him. Gojo is like, what the fuck? I killed you, Geto. Why are you alive?
And he says he's not Geto! Yay! Bad writing!
Horrible writing. They spent the entire backstory arc, as well as the movie arc, setting up Geto's motivation and his relationship to Gojo and the Jujutsu High, just for them to be like the main villain isn't Geto, it's actually somebody else.
I was ready to turn the show off right here.
Like we said before, the backstory arc and the movie were literally the highlights of Jujutsu Kaisen up to this point, and then they just took a shit on it. Like, Geto is irrelevant. He could be anybody. It doesn't matter.
For a split second, Geto tries to free himself after hearing Gojo's voice.
I don't see why it fucking matters.
Mekamaru tells Yuji that Gojo got sealed
from beyond the grave.
Oh my god. I forgot. Mekamaru's dead at this time, and he tells him through some freaking little coin shit.
Moving on.
Yuji goes outside and screams for Nanami, revealing that Gojo's been sealed.
Yuji uses this opportunity to team up with Fushiguro and Ino to find the Veilcasters.
They fight an assassin, and they fight somebody's grandma, who turns her grandson into Fushiguro's dad.
This is the second worst thing that happens in this arc. This is the definition of wasted potential. Why does Toji Fushiguro just come back to life randomly?
Granny Ogami has a secret technique, kind of like the reanimation jutsu, which turns people into other people by eating their flesh.
Her grandson reanimates into Toji Zenin, and he just comes back to life.
Toji Zenin kills the granny. Toji Zenin's body overpowers the grandson's soul.
Yeah, and Toji just takes control of him. Like, how does that make any sense?
At the same time, they fight the assassin who targeted Gojo as a child, and he finds out that he has some weird power where you have to hit him softly and hardly at the same time.
This fight is kind of random, but it's not really bad. You get to see Yuji and Fushiguro team up, and they actually beat him in an interesting way. I can't hate on this one too much.
They use the snow bunny attack.
Michael's favorite.
Yuji throws a car at the assassin.
Bro is just super strong now, I guess. I mean, he was always super strong. Fuck this show, bro.
At the same time, Shigemo critically injures Ichiji.
Nobara and Akari go to investigate, but they're confronted by Shigemo, and he gets into a fight with Nobara.
Nobara doesn't stand a chance against this guy, so
Nobara loses every single fight, by the way. I don't know why.
Nanami shows up to save her.
Nanami gives him that beat that ass no jutsu, and you get your favorite Twitter moment. Oh my god. This show would be so cool if I only saw the clips on Twitter and didn't pay attention to the plot.
After the fight on the bridge, Yuji teams up with Toge to take out transfigured humans. The more important fight is when Yuji fights Chozo.
Chozo fights him with blood clots. Chozo wants revenge on Yuji for killing his brothers in the Death Paintings arc, who also had blood manipulation techniques.
Chozo has an ability to use his blood to become hard.
Chozo uses this ability to shoot blood projectiles at Yuji, make swords, and harden his body to withstand his attacks.
Yuji fights back and knocks Chozo into the water, and they have a water battle. Whatever.
Because the water makes the blood not clot. I don't know. This man was watching JoJo before he made this arc. He just tried to make a stand battle, I guess.
Yuji fights back, but is knocked out. This is where Chozo gets a foreign memory of him and Yuji eating spaghetti.
This man doesn't kill Yuji because he thinks about how nice it would be to eat spaghetti with him.
If this show couldn't get any more weird and quirky, it just did. While this is happening, Mei Mei and Wee Wee confront Geto, and they have to fight a smallpox curse. Also, Maki, Nanami, and the leader of the Zenin clan, Maki's father, have to fight Dagon.
Naruto Zenin has this dumbass power of animation where he can select the amount of frames he wants to use. I don't know, it's stupid as fuck.
Dagon is a part of the Disaster Curse group.
Dagon is strong as shit, and he gives everyone a run for their money, and nobody can defeat him.
After transforming, he brings everybody to his domain, which is a beach.
Megumi comes through the domain and is ready to sacrifice himself in order to make an opening for everyone to get out.
This is where Megumi learns to control his domain.
Right before Megumi sacrifices himself, Toji Zenin comes through the ceiling and attacks Dagon.
He defeats Dagon and they leave his domain.
This part is so fucking random, and it's very clear that the creator just wanted to show off how strong Toji is compared to everybody else. Like, why is he in this arc? They don't give him a reason, he's just there.
Jogo shows up, claps Nanami and Maki, but before he kills the Zenin clan's leader, he senses Sukuna's fingers.
Bro, they literally had like 5 opportunities to kill Jogo, and he's still a threat. Like, he comes by and he just claps them, bro. Gojo could have disposed of him in the first arc.
2 sorcerer girls who Geto saved in the prequel are against the person controlling Geto's body and wants Geto to come back to life.
Because of this, they feed Yuji one of Sukuna's fingers while he's knocked out after his fight with Chozo.
They actually feed him multiple fingers. Jogo shows up and feeds Yuji 10 more fingers.
Why does Jogo do this? They even have a flashback where Geto specifically tells him that if he feeds him multiple fingers, Yuji won't be able to control Sukuna and he'll just do whatever.
At the same time, Megumi's outside and he actually has to fight his father.
This part is fucking ass.
They have a long-winded battle for just fan service, and in the end, Toji kills himself.
Bro, elaborate more on the details of what happened.
I have no idea.
While they're fighting, they don't know each other, so they just have a random ass fight. Toji asks Fushiguro if his last name is Zenin, and then when he tells him it's Fushiguro, he just kills himself immediately. Bro, it's mad stupid how he just shows up, does a couple fights, and then randomly kills himself. Like, they just wanted some fan service fights for him. I guess he was really popular after the flashback arc.
After Yuji eats the fingers, Sukuna wakes up and kills the girls.
Sukuna doing Sukuna things, am I right?
Jogo wants Sukuna on their side to help Geto.
So after like 5 or 6 straight episodes of just fights, because that's all this show is, Jogo and Sukuna have another fight for no reason.
Sukuna makes a deal with Jogo that says if he can hit him in the battle, that he will serve him for the time being.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't. He just claps Jogo. Like, why does this happen?
Yoriyumi shows up and tells Sukuna that she's there to help him, and she's also Sukuna's old ally. After Megumi's fight with his father, Shigemo shows up and tries to kill Megumi.
So Megumi, as a last-ditch effort to stay alive, pulls the ultra super mega Shikigami out of his butt crack to save the day.
Megumi remembers that Gojo told him about the head of the Gojo clan, who had Limitless and 6 Eyes, and the head of the Zenin clan, who had the 10 Shadow technique, and they killed each other in battle. This is why the 2 clans hate each other.
Because of this stupid ass flashback, Megumi manages to summon the 8-handled Sword Divergent Silver Divine General Magahara Shikigami.
Wow.
And this Shikigami is the strongest one in existence, and nobody can defeat him.
Out of freaking nowhere, Sukuna shows up and fights the Shikigami because they wanted to have a big flashy battle for no reason.
Sukuna shows up and goes, ooh, we had a few extra dollars in the budget. Throw me in this scene. This is like the 7th fight in a row. This is the best arc in Jujutsu Kaisen. There's no arc. It's just fights.
Sukuna uses domain expansion and they reveal his power Dismantle, which allows him to blow things up. After this, Yuji regains control of his body and he continues the main plot, if there ever was one.
Sukuna goes back to sleep, and then this man goes, oh shit, the plot, and then goes to find Gojo, which was what he was supposed to be doing from the beginning.
Bro, you could skip episodes and it still makes sense. This is where he finds Nanami getting attacked by Mahito, and Nanami dies.
Mahito, oh my god, I hate Nanami's death so much, bro. Nanami, who had no character arc, who had no backstory, who was not even really a fully fleshed out character, just gets clapped for no reason. I did not feel any remorse when Nanami died. I did not care. I had no emotional attachment to him. Why would I? He's just bland. He's just Japanese businessman. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yuji sees this and he grows angrier at Mahito, but he doesn't remember why, because they forgot about Junpei.
Literally, one of the only good parts about this show, the verse Mahito arc, which set up Yuji having motivation to kill Mahito, they never mention it in this arc when he actually fights Mahito. They do not bring it up once.
At the same time, Nobara is taking down Mahito, which is pretty weird, until they reveal in a flashback that Mahito split in two when he made a deal with Jogo to take down Yuji. Nobara uses resonance, and if you remember this, it damages people's souls, so it actually hurts Mahito.
Because Mahito split in two, this clone actually can't use idol transfiguration and needs to switch with the other one in order to defeat Nobara.
Yuji at the same time is defeating the other clone because he can't manipulate his own soul.
Yuji in a blind rage is beating that nigga's ass.
The clone fighting Nobara leads her to Yuji. This is where Mahito touches her face, and then we get a backstory.
Nobara's backstory is so ass. She has like the most ass backstory of any anime character ever.
She knew somebody. They got ran out of town and they had another friend who cried for her, and then Nobara didn't cry for the friend. I don't understand.
This man Nagato watched his parents die.
Anyway, it was trash. I don't care about it. And moving on, she dies. But she doesn't die.
Or does she?
Bro, what?
Why does Nobara die, bro? She also didn't have a character arc. I don't even feel like she was involved enough in the plot to have any type of character significance. I didn't care when she died. I had no attachment to her.
Yuji breaks down and doesn't even fight back while Mahito just wails on him. Todo shows up to save him.
Todo tells Yuji that he needs to lock in and avenge his friends.
Todo shows up with Nita, who says that she might not actually be dead. Mahito believes that one hit from his idol transfiguration won't kill Todo, so they fight it out.
They have another fight, yay. I'm so fatigued.
In this fight, Mahito uses Black Flash.
Todo also uses Black Flash, but before he uses Black Flash, he says that nobody can use Black Flash on command.
What does that mean?
I don't know why he said that.
After Yuji and Todo team up on Mahito, Todo then gets his hand chopped off. Mahito transforms into his final form, called Instant Spirit Body of Distorted Killing.
Yuji uses Divergent Fist to catch Mahito off guard, and it works because it lags.
This isn't enough to finish him, and Todo shows up doing a fake clap with his one hand, and Yuji hits him with a Black Flash to finish him.
Mahito, panicking and running for his life, throws transfigured humans at them.
On the roof, Yuji's about to kill Mahito, and he gives him a speech about even if he's reincarnated, he'll be there to kill him.
Then you get this really cool sequence about Yuji chasing him down as a wolf and Mahito running away as a rabbit, and it goes on for like 10 minutes straight. And it's not ass at all. It literally depends on you finding it cool for the way that it goes on for stupid long, bro.
Geto shows up, throws a catfish at Yuji, and this opens a gaping hole in the ground. Gaping.
Yo, they give some dumbass explanation about catfishes being related to earthquakes. Like, why are you trying to be JoJo? Stop it.
This is when Geto strikes Yuji with a whole bunch of centipedes and he looks at him bleeding.
Wow, I never seen this scene before in a different anime. That's way better.
Geto explains to Mahito that he'll help him out, but he just lies to him and then he eats him by using Uzumaki.
I really don't like this part. Even after Yuji gave that long ass speech about how he'll kill Mahito forever and then get revenge for Junpei, even though he never mentioned Junpei in this arc at all, he doesn't even kill Mahito. Geto just eats him and absorbs his curse. It was just stupid, bro.
Bad writing. Mahito's final words include a speech about how he knew he could never beat humans because he was born out of humans' malice. Momo, Noritoshi, Mai, Panda, Kusakabe, and Miwa attack Geto.
This literally happened in Bleach. You're not Aizen, Geto. Yo, was it a part of Aizen's plan to make this garbage anime? Toso shows up and says that Yuji's actually his brother.
So he helps him in the fight.
That's why he had that dumbass memory about spaghetti.
He then gives the backstory about how he was born from 3 parents: his mother, his father, and an evil spirit.
His name is Noritoshi Kamo.
If this name sounds familiar, it's because it's the same man mentioned in the Death Paintings arc.
The most vile sorcerer. I actually like the Death Paintings arc a lot because it set up things like this that come forward later in the plot.
Yoriyume shows up and shows off her ice powers.
Chozo actually tries to fight against Geto and help Yuji.
Nobody's a match for Geto, and while he whoops their ass, he explains his evil plan.
There are actually 2 types of people around the world. Those who are marked and awaken new cursed techniques like Junpei, and the second are cursed vessels like Yuji.
I guess this is the actual main plot of the show.
Geto wants to release thousands of malevolent sorcerers and have them fight against each other.
This will bring back the golden age of Jujutsu sorcery.
This scene is literally the same as Bleach. Shows up like Aizen at the end to tell him his evil plan, and then he fucks off into the sky.
He even breaks the sword like Bleach.
Exactly. Like, I know it was inspired, but they took a lot.
This is when Yuki shows up, if you remember her from her chat with Geto.
Yeah, she just shows up out of fucking nowhere. And then that's how it ends.
After this, Yuji realizes that his life goal is to exercise all curses.
This is the end of his character arc. For now, he becomes like a warrior of Jujutsu sorcery.
Now they reintroduce Yuta, where he saves a little girl.
Back at Jujutsu High, the higher-ups actually make it a crime to free Gojo from the prison realm because they believe he assisted Geto in the Shibuya Arc.
They also speed up Yuji's execution and tell them that he has to die now that he consumed multiple Sukuna's fingers.
They also say the reason he has to die is because he cut off Toge's arm when Sukuna was running rampant in Shibuya.
Well, off screen,
Like, should I explain why that's ass, or should we just move on?
they assign Yuta as Yuji's executioner. And this ends the shittiest arc I've seen in my life. Jujutsu Kaisen isn't that bad a show. The first season starts off with some potential and they introduce a solid power system. But there's multiple reasons why this show is ass, and I'm gonna go over them now. Number 1, Yuji is a bad main character.
Yuji is basically a generic anime main character. He copies a lot of his character traits from other anime main characters, and because of this he becomes really bland.
I also don't like how Yuji enters every situation and is automatically good at everything. He doesn't train, he's just good at everything. I don't know why.
Another thing I don't like about Yuji's character is his motivation. Because his motivation is so flaky, his character arc suffers, and it's never really clear on what motivates him to keep moving forward. Initially, Yuji wants to save as many people as possible, but then he wants to give people natural deaths. It's just all over the place, and it's hard to follow.
Number 2, the side characters are trash.
The side characters are basically just bland archetypes of other characters from different animes, and even the good characters like Megumi, Gojo, and Maki don't even get fleshed out character arcs.
Most of the side characters are introduced just their backstory and how their powers work, and then they have a fight. They don't really do anything for the main plot.
Yeah, and most of them only have like one personality trait each.
Number 3, the power system is all over the place. In the beginning, they tell you that the power system is based off negative emotions, which leads to cursed energy.
The biggest issue with the power system is that it's not fleshed out enough. Even though most of the powers don't seem that far-fetched, they just introduce them and then explain them later as if they were not planning on building on the power system at all.
A perfect example of this is Black Flash, where they just introduce it randomly in a fight when Yuji was already building up a cursed energy punch.
Also, Megumi Shikigami Megahara, he just pulls it out of nowhere.
Number 4, none of the arcs are connected. You could say the death paintings to the end is connected, but it's bland foreshadowing and they honestly don't connect anything else.
Even the versus Mahito arc, where they introduce Junpei to give Yuji motivation to fight Mahito, when he actually fights Mahito, he never even talks about this or brings it up.
They have an overall plot, but they can't get to it due to all the fights. They introduce Sukuna, Geto, and a whole bunch of other characters which are supposed to be the antagonists of the show, but they never get to their motivation till the end of the Shibuya arc.
And even with Geto, they introduce him in the flashback and give him an entire character arc about becoming evil, and then you find out it's not even Geto.
Why would you do that?
Shit was bad writing.
Number 5, big flashy fights. As stated before, this show is overwhelmed by big flashy fights, but they knew what they were doing.
There's a fight nearly every single episode, and they're clearly catering to an audience that pays more attention to the fights than the plot, and it worked out for them. They're like the most popular anime right now.
Great animation, great fights, no plot. That's what they should call this show. Also, they don't use real martial arts the entire time. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. They just have references to other fights. I know it's anime and they try to make the fights cool, but most of the moves they do are impractical and just waste energy. If you want to get the most out of your fighting moves, you would not do a spinning backflip kick. Like, I know it looks cool, but why?
Yeah, it's just mad stupid.
The last point, which actually seals the deal for this show, is the villains suck.
The villains are absolutely garbage.
They introduce Geto, and Geto's motto is to clear out all non-sorcerers to get rid of cursed spirits, but they just forget about this when he dies.
And then they just say it's not Geto. And then every single significant fight that happens in the show happens against like a no-name curse or just a random one that pops up.
How are these compelling villains? They're not. They're just meant for fights.
Think about it. The most impactful fights like Sukuna versus Magahara. Magahara was introduced in that episode.
And didn't speak.
There's no build up to any of the fights. They just randomly fight.
Overall, the show had a lot of potential, but due to its loose plot and multiple fights in each episode, it lost me.
There's no character development, and they really just don't plan anything. They only plan the fights, and then the plot just accumulates around it. The show is very shallow and basic.
Most of the time, people say they like the show for the animation. So, honestly, I guess you're not watching the rest of it.
If you like flashy fights, watch Jujutsu Kaisen. If you like character development and a good plot, watch something else. Watch Bleach. That's what it's based on. Getsuga! Thank you guys so much for tuning in today.
I don't care if you enjoyed it. I'm not here to entertain you.
While we are professional hating, and hating is what we do.
If you want us to hate on something you love, leave it in the comments below. I'll go in and destroy it.
Well, we will not be reviewing Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, but if you have any other anime recommendations, please leave them in the comments below.
And remember, go f*** yourself.
Never in my life.
After the Sandman shows up and tells Peter that Uncle Ben's death was after the Sandman shows up and tells Uncle Peter shout out Michael.
Yo, Michael, if you're watching this, we love you.